Youth is served. The teens take on quarterfinals. We'll have a recap of the top performances and athletes to watch next. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the Talking Elite Fitness Studios. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez. Lauren Khalil will be joining us here in just a second as we take a look back at the teenage divisions that just took on quarterfinals this past weekend. And there is no other group of athletes that makes me feel worse about my fitness than the teenage competitors.
And for good reason. You look at some of the lifts that got put up in that 16 to 17 division, both on the young women's and young men's side. I mean, those would have been top tier lifts in the individual side just a few years ago. I mean, there's a few big name athletes that are probably looking at it and being like, I don't know if I got that in my belt.
Well, let's take a look at the leaders right now for the teenage divisions. And there's a couple surprises here, most notably in the 16 to 17-year-old girls division, Lucy McGonigal edging out Olivia Kerstetter. We'll have more on that in a second. Maria Granizo is your leader for the 14 to 15-year-old girls, and Kulani Subiono for the boys in the 14 to 15-year-old division. But let's talk about that guy in the 16 to 17-year-old division, Caden Hogan.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of a surprise for some people considering who he beat out on the leaderboard. The reigning champ in both of the teenage boys divisions from the last 2 years. Chai Jenkins, the reigning champ, just behind him in second. RJ Mestri, the 14 to 15 champ as well. Really what's most impressive about Caden's performance, he was fourth or better in all of the mixed modality tests. That's what you're going to see more of in the teenage division at the games. His one blemish came in the lift, still broke 300 pounds for it overall. He comes out of training think tank. He's in a great training environment overall. You can see the skills on display with the L-sit and all the gymnastics that he's put the work in for. I think this is an opportunity to have now a 3-horse race in this division that typically brings out a lot of big names.
Let's go down now to the 14 to 15-year-old division. And the last name of the leader in that division, you might also see that name appear in the 16 to 17-year-old division.
Yeah, we have a family affair in both divisions, but led by Kulani Subiono, who is in first place in his division after the quarterfinals. Move over, Panchicks. Move over, Smith brothers. It's the Subiono brothers. Obviously, you have Kulani following in the footsteps of his two older brothers, Kaeo and Elijah. Elijah has 2 games appearances under his belt. He has since aged up and finished 117th in the quarterfinals as an Indy. Kaeo, 2 games appearances as well, but Kulani leads the way now as the first brother to maybe actually add a podium to his belt. You look at how he finished at Wodapalooza, second place behind RJ Mestri, who's moved up a division. And, you know, he had all top 5s in the quarterfinals. A couple of names that did that, and then how they finished. Dallin Pepper, Angelo DeChico, Nate Ackerman all went on to win, so that's some good company that he's in.
Very good start to their careers. For a closer look at the women's side of the teenage division, let's send it to Lauren Khalil.
Thanks, Sean. The most notable athlete for me was in the girls 16 to 17 division, an athlete who was actually aged up this year. It was Lucy McGonigal. Last year, she was in the 14 to 15 division, and so far this aging up, it's fared well for her, unofficially taking that first place spot. Back in 2021, that was the last time that we saw her go head-to-head with Olivia Kerstetter, as Kerstetter took first at the CrossFit Games and McGonigal took second. Last year, McGonigal took first in her age group at the games, and now even bumping up a division, she's still standing on top of the CrossFit leaderboard. Now, my question is whether we'll see her and Kerstetter go back head-to-head battling out. It's really going to depend, though, whether Kerstetter decides to go individual or not, something that we will still be waiting anxiously to see how those cards fall into place. Unofficially, again, McGonigal finishing first overall. To me, just a very notable performance. For this standout performance, I couldn't pick just one. We're going to look at the girls age group 14 to 15, where 5 of these girls cleaned over 200 pounds. Anna Laura Katai, Ladmia Reese, Ada Irvin, Autumn Sands, and Maria Granizo. Congratulations to these super strong women. Sean, we'll toss it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Lauren. Let's take a look at some of the important dates that are coming up on the calendar for those athletes who are moving on in the CrossFit Games season. Semifinal registration opens on April 17th. The workouts and floor plans are released a week later. Then scores are due April 29th and April 30th. And then we will find out who is advancing to the 2023 Noble CrossFit Games. Congratulations to all the athletes who are moving on to semifinals, and best of luck as you try to get yourself to Madison, Wisconsin. We have plenty of other content available for you to keep you updated, not only on the CrossFit Games season, but what else is going on in the fitness world. Our new show, Death By, hosted by Lauren Khalil, that is available right now, the first episode of that. We also have recaps for the age group men and women in the Masters divisions from quarterfinals that you can check out. We'll have a new podcast this Friday where we will discuss the breaking news on the men's side of the house, where Ricky Garrard has just announced that he will not be competing this year due to a shoulder injury. And then on Sunday, we'll have an interview with Oceania athlete Caitlin Van Zyl that our Oceania correspondent Jeremy Austin was able to get. And as always, you can follow us on Instagram and support us on Patreon if you see fit. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. For Lauren Khalil and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll talk to you next time.